Here's strif1 at the top from Cloud9 in his usual attire, and Thijs at the bottom. So they're both playing Druid. Shades of Naxxramas on Thijs' side, so indicates a little bit of a faster Druid, I think.
Yeah, even though some of the slower Druids even run Shades these days. I've seen, for example, Dog's Druid, even though it has Ancients of War, it also runs Shades, and it also runs one combo.
That seems to be the case at the bottom. There's a Shade of Naxxramas with an Ancient of War. So you'd just be right here. But 2 Shades back to back, that's really strong. You know, turn 2 Coin Shade, turn 3 Shade, that sets up a really nice aggression.
Even though neither player has Walled Growth now, the player that has 2 Shades of Naxxramas, that's pretty much the best start you could hope for that doesn't involve an Innervate or a Walled Growth.
Yep, and the best counter to double Shade that don't get unstealthed for a long time is Sylvanas Windrunner. It's one of the best ways for you to ensure that you're going to be getting... Oh, wow. That is going to help quite a bit.
Walled Growth off the top, pretty good. And that puts Tyson a huge lead, I would say.
Yeah, those matchups very often come down to whoever gets to ramp first, and in this case, Thijs got himself the Wild Growth. It's going to be a big deal in this case.
Yeah, strif1, he got to rank #1 legend on the North American server. I think with this particular Druid deck, I don't think it runs any combos, but it runs huge threats like Kel'Thuzad, Sneed's Old Shredder, and Cenarius. Speaking of Sneeds, hi.
Hello, Sneeds. So apparently, so in this case here, if you're strif1, how do you approach this Pilot Shredder? Do you silence it off and sack a Shade, or you just wrath it down and just see what comes out of it with your hero power to kill it with the Zombie Chow?
I think with the Wrath play, you can kind of hope for a weaker minion to come out of this Pilot Shredder, and hopefully it's something that your Zombie Chow can clear. Ooh.
Very, very good. Well, very good. It would have been better as a Novice Engineer for him, but this is a second, well, Captain's Parrot as well. But other than that, I think it starts going into Bluegill Warriors and Loot Hoarders.
Yeah, well, Loot Hoarders, it actually gives your opponent a draw. Not something you want, but I guess it's acceptable in this scenario.
Yeah, just because the hero power takes care of it.
So Ty's gonna continue to curve out well, Druid of the Claw into perhaps the Ancient of Lore or the 2 Shades.
Yeah, 2 Shades of Naxxramas feels like a really nice setup because he already has the Ancient of War. So all he has to do, not the Ancient of War, sorry, but the Savage Roar. So all he really needs to do is wait until the time he finds Force of Nature, and with 2 Shades that are stealthed, that's pretty much OTK at that point.
Very weak options from strif1 this turn. At the 5 mana slot, strif1 is either looking to play a Shade or, either a Sludge Belcher or a Druid of the Claw, or perhaps Innervate out an Ancient of Lore or an Ancient of War, but he has none of those options right now.
Yeah, he can't even take comfort in the follow-up Sylvanas because there's a Keeper of the Grove that's going to be able to deny it in some way. So it's not going to be nearly as effective as he might like. So do you just trade away your Shade and try to develop the Keeper of the Grove on the board here? And follow up with Sylvanas, Ancient of War, Sneeds, as, you know, on curve?
I think that might be one of his only options right now. He could possibly decide to hide the Shade. Yeah, he's going to hide the Shade, just hope for it to get more value. Because right now the Druid of the Claw is going to trade into the Keeper or the Zombie Chow. Or maybe Tyce will just go to face, I don't know. But either way, like, it's possible for... I think you're okay with the Druid trading for those 2 creatures as long as you get a 5/5 next turn in order to contest the Ancient of Lore. I think that was the key for this turn. Just getting something to be able to clear the Ancient of Lore that's bound to come up.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
And from that, strif1 will be able to get a neutral board so that he'll have the advantage. Like, he'll throw down a Sylvanas right now, maybe clear everything.
Do you have to clear everything if your Sylvanas is there? Because otherwise he'll just kill it without any drawback. But
it's basically it basically comes down to, do you value the 5/5 Sylvanas or do you value the Shade more?
The growth of the Shade. The thing is, once the Shade hits a certain point, if you have nothing to BGH, well, Dr. Boom might come out in this turn, so this might be almost a moot point.
Yeah, we can see from seeing both hands that sacrificing the Shade is probably the better play, because it just forces your opponent to Keeper of the Grove and silence silence the Sylvanas, being that there's no swipe in Tice's hand. And for with that silence, like yes, you get rid of the effect of the Sylvanas, but you also put down a 2/4 creature into a 5/5 body, which
Yeah.
trades so well against the 2/4.
What I'm kind of curious about here is like the value of Dr. Boom in this case. I mean, it does, you can somewhat negate its value just by virtue of Sylvanas not having much to steal with it, but silencing her doesn't really allow you to follow up with much outside of a Shade of Nax, right? I mean, you'd have to innervate something out right afterwards. The slow play is obviously silencing Sylvanas immediately. What if you just drop 2 Shades of Nax right now, and then silence it off and see what you can do off there?
All right, apparently the play is Scenarios. Okay, that's also pretty good. Like, it's going to be good unless strif1 can somehow...
Clear everything, yeah. Ooh,
if he has like a
wow.
Wrath or something.
Mind Control tech here. Not the most useful card in the immediate sense, but if the double Shades get played, do you think Thais will think about playing around MC Tech?
I'm sure Tice is a player that he prides himself in his ability to scout out opponents and then adapt with the scouting. So I'm sure strif1 is his deck is well revealed to Tice. Tice will know every single card in strif1's deck. So,
Alright.
and Mind Control Tech is one of those cards. So yeah, he'll definitely be thinking about playing around Mind Control.
So, Sylvana's going to attack into one of those treants. If he doesn't attack, it telegraphs the MC Tech way too hard, and he can't really justify it. So he does kill one of the treants, which is something you don't want to steal with MC Tech. She's got no time for games, and quite frankly, double Keeper of the Grove here. Is that... I mean, you silence once, then you ping, then you trade the treant, then you kill the Ancient.
I mean, it sounds good to me.
You don't even have to play the Keeper, though. You could just hero power it down, really.
Yeah,
But
just,
yeah, you're right.
it's all about whether there's other targets in strif1's deck to be able to silence, and whether you think those targets will matter in the long game.
Yeah, but I mean, Ancient of War, albeit it's not the best possible target for that kind of play, it's still a pretty good one because you turn it from a 5/10 into a 5/5, which, you know, if you don't have Black Knight immediately available, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Oh man, Tice doesn't play
wow.
around MC Tech.
This is going to be incredible here for, potentially incredible. Then again, anything he steals is going to be fairly weak to Keeper of the Grove. You know, any other minions that are left over from this play.
This is one of those scenarios where anything you steal will be decent.
Yeah, and it's also good that he can follow up with even more, so...
I mean, the Keeper is alright. It's not the best, but you'll take it.
That's a 2/4. It lives. The question is, do you trade with Scenarios, with the Sylvanas, or do you attack Sylvanas? Do you Keeper the Grove, the treant? I mean, do you Sylvanas a 2/2, then attack Keeper? And...
I think you definitely have to trade. You're the more, you're the slower deck. You're the more defensive deck. Oh, combo is drawn. Yeah, so you're the slower deck, so you want to be able to stall out the game as long as possible so that your threats will come into effect.
Yeah, I guess because the faster druid will try to beat you down, you can't afford sacrificing 5 health to Scenarios just because.
Yeah. Even though Tice got the walled growth off and strif1 didn't, Tice was player 2, so he only had 1 mana advantage over strif1 instead of the 2 mana advantage that he would have gotten if he were player 1.
Yeah, player 1 with wild growth compounds the mana advantage that they initially get from just being the first player. So.
Yeah, so the issue for Tice is that his opponent is only at 26 health right now. So combo won't do that much for a while.
Oh, this is a really nice card for strif1 to find.
I'm not sure if he wants to play it though. Like he's able to clear everything except the shade off.
Yeah, with just Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
And it allows you to innervate into Sneed's Old Shredder, which I guess is a pretty decent play on its own.
Yeah, it's gonna get Sneed's is gonna get silenced. I mean, Tice has nightmares of Sneed just from all those Kel'Thazads popping out.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah, Sneed's will get silenced, but it's still a very strong 5/8 body that Druid can't deal with.
And
Okay.
2 damage hits from the Boombot.
I wonder why. Oh, I see. I see what's going on. Yeah, I was wondering why strif1 didn't attack with the mind control tech first, but it was because he didn't want the Boombot to kill the other keeper. Yeah, that's fine. Like if he attacked with the mind control tech into face first, then if the first Boombot killed his second keeper, then he would have
Couldn't
no
have
way.
the trade, yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't have the trade, and he would have no way to play this this play.
You know, I find it kind of funny that a card like Sneeze, I mean, it's a very good card, don't get me wrong, but the stat line of it is also pretty interesting. I mean, even if it does get silenced, it's also pretty good. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen, like, anyone play cards just for their stats. And I'm talking stuff like, you know, just a 5-drop, like Fukin and Stalag. They're not viable as minions themselves, but their stat line is just not appealing. Because their ability is just not good. So it seems to me like vanilla stats on minions is completely undervalued most of the time. Outside of like Yetis that create huge tempo swings because of early innervates.
Yeah, Yeti is just at a spot where
Mm-hmm.
you you don't want to hex it. Like Boulder Fist Ogre is very similar, but if you hex a Boulder Fist Ogre, like you're pretty happy about that. Like 3 mana to trade off against a 6 mana creature. Yeah, you'll take that.
There is no silence on the Sneeze here. There was no silence, so the Sneeze, if it gets popped by Ragnaros, is just going to spawn like another legendary.
Tice is just closing his eyes, just hoping for not Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah.
Or is his
He disconnected?
or is he disconnected?
Oh, come on now. You have got to be kidding. I mean, Ragnaros will do whatever Ragnaros does anyway.
Well,
And it kills Sneeze, which...
Nozdorm.
Another Nozdormu.
I-
And Kel'Thuzad going to be played just to counter the... Actually, he can just get Nozdormu back, right?
Yeah, he can get it back.
This is the perfect time for Kel'Thuzad. Are you kidding me?
I mean, unfortunately, it looks like Tice is disconnected, and it'll be more apparent soon.
I didn't see if Thias went offline, but I don't know if the spectator mode would enable that.
I mean, from strif1's perspective, it's gonna look like Tice didn't play fast enough. I mean, I feel like we were denied of such a good game because of this.
Yeah, really. I really feel like
because
this.
of the disconnect issues.
But then again, this game was pretty much... Well, then again, the KT... I mean, Big Game Hunter plus Keeper of the Grove would have silenced Kel'Thuzad.
I think at that point, like, he might have just gone for combo.
Yeah, to trade everything away for...
Wild growth cycling. Oh my god, that takes forever.
He just queues up his actions and does them all.
So the last time at ESL, we had 3 Kel'Thuzads in a row coming from Sneasel Shredder. Today we have 2 Nozdormus coming from the Sneasel Shredder.
Yeah, I think they
it's
increased the weight. I think Blizzard has some kind of special code where they just force Sneeds to have a higher likelihood of spawning X or Y minion.
Well, what I was thinking was that does Blizzard just randomize it by day? Like today,
Yeah.
like only Nozdormu will come out from Sneasel Shredder.